Hare Krishna, friends. So we're now going to study verses 8, 9, and 10. You watched the previous video called The Diagram, which gives a full description of the primary creation, which is Gokula, Goloka, Vrindavan, Svetadweep, the secondary creation, which is the material universe, and will be the manifestation of Shambhu, Maya, Ramadevi, Kala, the whole thing. You should be pretty well versed on this whole section. And these three verses talk about that, the secondary creation, and focus on the Shiva Lingam, Shambhu, and Yoni, which is Maya, and their intercourse and what they create. Okay, let's do it. Hare Krishna, friends. So hopefully you watched the previous video called The Diagram, and then this is all going to make sense. So we're just going to go through Bhaktisiddhanta's translations. They're very complicated, but with our knowledge, it will all make sense. So he starts off by saying the secondary process of association with Maya is described. Secondary means that the Supreme Lord's primary association is the Chit potency, Radha and Krishna, Ramadevi, the pleasure potency. The secondary would be the association with Maya Devi to create the material world. Ramadevi, the spiritual Chit potency, beloved consort of the Supreme Lord, is the regulatrix of all entities. So the spiritual potency controls all living entities. The divine plenary portion of Krishna creates the mundane world, and that plenary portion is Sankarshan here, who's now laying in the Viraj River, or is part of the Svetadweep manifestation of Gokula, Goloka. At creation, there appears a divine halo of the nature of his own subjective portion, Svamsa. This halo is divine Shambhu, the masculine symbol or manifested emblem of the Supreme Lord. So when Sankarshan is laying in the Viraj, from him, his halo, called the Jyoti Rupa, the form of light, comes Shambhu. So from that effulgence comes Shiva. This halo is the dim twilight reflection of the supreme eternal effulgence. It's like the end portion of the halo. This masculine symbol, and so just to be clear, the masculine symbol means the male reproductive organ, the penis, is the subjective portion of divinity who functions as progenitor of the mundane world, subject to the supreme regulatrix, Nayati. And so if we remember from looking at this here, the Shiva Lingam, the Linga Yoni, which is the male reproductive organ with the female reproductive organ, creates the universe. And here it's saying that it's subjective, or it's necessary, subject to the supreme regulatrix, means that Ramadevi has to appear as Maya for Shiva to be able to reproduce. The conceiving potency in regard to mundane creation makes her appearance out of the supreme regulatrix. So Maya comes from Ramadevi, like like Ramadevi is with Krishna, and then from her effulgence, the end portion of her energy, a dim reflection, comes Maya, the deluding energy. She is Maya, the limited, non-absolute apara potency, the symbol of mundane feminine productivity, or the symbol of a female's reproductive organ. And then the intercourse of these two brings forth the faculty of perverted cognition, the reflection of the seed of the procreative desire of the Supreme Lord. So remember here that Sankarshan has a desire to create, and that desire carried with time by Ramadevi to her dim end of her potency is given to Maya Devi. Sankarshan's effulgence, Jyoti Rupa, is manifests Shambhu, and from the inner cores of those two, the universe is created, the materials of the universe, not the actual sun and moon and all that stuff. That's Brahma's job. But the gray arena, the dark arena of the material universe is created, and all things that enter it are affected by this mahat, this illusion, mahat dhareya, and that's what they produce. Okay, friends, so this verse 9 is saying, Linga Yoni Atmakajata, from the male reproductive organ, Shambhu, and the female reproductive organ, Maya, the combination of those two, as we have here in the Shiva Lingam referred to, all things come from that. Imam Maheshri Praja. And in other words, this is saying Maheshri Maya is the mother of all things. And so when we look at this Shiva Lingam, we can see the representation of the male and female organ, and from it all things are born. And so who is the mother of the universe? That would be Maya or Kali or Durga. And so sometimes Kali is called Ma, which means the mother. Durga is called Ma, Kali Ma. And that's because the combination of Shiva, who is Shankarshan's halo manifestation with the desire to create a carrying time, and Ramadevi's pleasure potency, who is now Maya, as they manifest and create, Maya Devi brings forth as the mother of the universe the whole pradhana, which is basically all things before they've actually been put together into the whole universe. Brahma's job is to actually piece it all together as a universe. Maya's job is to birth ego, illusion, and the ingredients to do so. Okay, friends, so we're going to read the purport from this verse 9 from the study guide. It's really complicated, and I just kind of want to get through it. So let's open the study guide and let's read this. The four extensions of the Supreme Lord are His Majesty, and the four are in Svetadweep, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Vasudeva, and Aniruddha, the four first manifestations of Krishna. The three aspects of eternal joy, immortality, and unfathomable understanding represent the majestic domains of Vaikuntha, Goloka, etc. Means Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Everything is created of this spiritual potency, or otherwise known as Chit. In the temporal world, bound by Maya, entities like demigods and humans, along with all mundane worlds, constitute the grand expression of the limited power. Means in the material world, all things are coming through Maya, which is temporary, ignorant, subjected to time and such. So the spiritual world is Sat, Chit, and Ananda. The material world is bound by time and illusion. So it's like the reflection, the negative reflection of this energy of Krishna. All these entities embody the masculine and feminine reproductive elements due to the dichotomy between active and material causal principles, implying they are all products of the process of sexual reproduction. So in other words, he's saying that in this world, we're all born from sex, the union between male and female, and that energy originally is coming through Maya and Shambhu, which means we're born into illusion because their offspring is illusion. So sometimes people think that this yoni, which is the female reproductive organ, the male reproductive organ, which is the linga, shambhu, is kind of vulgar, inappropriate. But Bhaktisiddhanta's got an interesting paragraph here where he discusses that just a little bit. In every piece of information gathered through the sciences of this world carries this characteristic of sexual union. Even trees, plants, and all non-sentient entities represent the interaction between male and female elements. What's important to note is that while terms like male and female reproductive organs may seem inappropriate, they become incredibly meaningful and valuable in a scientific context. Social decorum is just an external societal construct, and science, especially the highest form of science, cannot compromise truth to appease social norms. That's pretty straightforward. Therefore, to depict the seed of worldly sexual desire, the fundamental principles of this phenomenal world, the use of this specific term is essential, means male reproductive organ, female reproductive organ. These words simply signify the active masculine energy and the receptive feminine energy. So, pretty straightforward. I really like that. If you read through it in Bhaktisiddhanta's words, it's very powerful. So essentially, to finish up this little section, Shiva is represented as the reproductive organ. Maya is representative of the female reproductive organ. Their intercourse creates the illusion, the stuff of this world, and all things that come through this material world are affected by this sexual union, and from it, the illusion of the combination of Shiva and Durga. And that's why she's considered Ma, or the mother of this universe. So verse 10 is basically just a summary of everything that we've gone over, so we'll just go over it really quickly. The person embodying the material causal principle, the great lord of this mundane world, Shambhu, in the form of the male generative organ, is joined to his female consort, the limited energy Maya, as the efficient causal principle. So Shiva and Maya, they engage in intercourse. The Lord of the world, Mahavishnu, is manifest in him by his subjective portion in the form of his glance. So Shiva is energized, manifest by the glance of Sankarshan through the Jyoti Rupa, the effulgence. And that's about it. That basically ends this section on Shiva and Maya and the creation of the material universe. There is one little chunk I want to read here in the purport, where here it says, agreeably to the initiative of Mahavishnu, the consort of Shiva creates successively so essentially saying, agreeing to Sankarshan's desire to create, through their intercourse, Maya creates, and these are the things that she creates. Where we say she's the mother of the universe, what is it that she births? She births ahankara, mundane or false ego. The 5 mundane elements, the bhutas, space, etc., their attributes, the ton mantras, and the limited senses of the conditioned soul, the jiva. And so this all creates essentially the stuff of the material world and satisfies Sankarshan, who then, when he enters the universe through the little seeds, Brahma can take the stuff and actually within each universe create the worlds that we participate in. Pretty cool. So detailed. Okay, Hare Krishna.